What is going on, you and the two? It's your boy Trucker Will, and we trucking it like always, trying to make this money, trying to make this dough. So we out here in New Mexico, and I've been watching this election, and I got some interesting information that was given to me, and I kind of looked it up a little bit to see, but right now, you know, I'm neither for or against any of the candidates that are running for office. Neither for or against them. You know, whether Biden wins or whether Trump wins, is it gonna really affect me personally too much? No. I'm in the world, and we'll see. But some interesting information that I got up. So we're gonna get into it, but this is News with Trucker Will.
Unusual aspects of this election was that, of course, it was conducted during the pandemic. It's led to this expansion of mail-in voting across the country. So I want to bring in Mary Alice Parks for a little bit more on this. We have several states that had a lot of experience with mail-in voting, like Colorado, like the states in the Pacific Northwest, but places like Pennsylvania had not had widespread mail-in voting before. And we saw that in the primaries, they were kind of getting their sea legs on how to make the mail-in voting work.
Absolutely. In Pennsylvania, they passed a law just a year ago that would allow voters to vote absentee without needing an excuse. That just dramatically changed how people in Pennsylvania were able to cast their ballots. And then Democrats went to the state legislature and said, okay, now make it easier for us to count all those ballots. And they had a lot of inter-party infighting about how to get that done. I mean, you had Republicans in the state house that just didn't want to let the state start counting those ballots early.
So right now, there's a lot of unrest going on out here in the world as far as this election. Right now, you have Biden currently ahead 264 to Trump's 213 or 214 electoral votes. You need 270 to get to the White House. Now, here I'm going to show you guys a clip of what was on the news a couple hours ago or last night, and it's talking about the gathering protests that are going on in Arizona right now, as far as with the ballots being counted. Some of them want some of the people, even ex-mayor Rudy Giuliani is the president's lawyer, and he is asking for ballots to be thrown out. Technically, that's unconstitutional. There's no law that said ballots can be thrown out. But that's just what they're trying to do. They're trying to say that they want these ballots to be thrown out, or AKA stop the counting. So we're going to roll this clip. All right.
Are being counted in Maricopa County. At this hour, Joe Biden maintains a slight lead in that state, although the race has narrowed a bit. Jamie Yuccas spoke to Arizonans waiting for results.
Supporters of President Donald Trump voiced their frustration late Wednesday with the ballot counting process outside the Maricopa County Elections Department. The protests were largely peaceful, but police dressed in full tactical gear blocked entries to ensure the safety of those counting votes inside. They escorted employees to their cars once their shift was over. About a third of the crowd appeared to be armed, including Aaron Kotzbauer.
So are you guys hoping to get inside?
Oh, no, ma'am. No, just to voice our opinions.
And many expressed fears that their votes were not being counted.
They literally are trying to steal this from us.
Maricopa County is the second largest voting jurisdiction in the country, and they say they're making sure each and every vote is counted correctly. Earlier this week, we spoke to officials who explained some of the security measures in place. The Elections Department has 24/7 webcams monitoring ballot counting and can be accessed publicly on their website. If there are any questions about a ballot, two people, one Republican and a Democrat, will try to sort out the voter's intent before it can be tabulated. And the machines that count the ballots are never connected to the internet, so they cannot be hacked.
We're doing everything possible to make sure that we have a safe, a secure, and accessible election.
Protesters are also concerned over a viral Facebook video where a voter claimed ballots weren't being counted because they were filled out with a Sharpie. The Republican state attorney general is investigating, but election officials call this misinformation, saying Sharpies are not a reason to invalidate a ballot. Tony?
All right, important information there, Jamie. Thank you very much.
All right, guys. So with that information, that a lot of unrest and they feel like the ballots are not going to get counted and things of that nature. I want to go back a couple months. I'm going to roll this clip, right? Go back a couple months. And before any of this started, Donald Trump said that there was going to be an issue with the ballots. Now, why would there be an issue with the ballots? Coronavirus, maybe? And like I said, I'm neither for one party or for another party, but it's this mighty coincidence, big coincidence that Republicans, they're going to the poll. Democrats that are more concerned, about the coronavirus are mailing their ballots in. Why would that be? So we're going to roll a clip about what Donald Trump said about the ballots.
Millions of Americans are receiving mail-in ballots or going to vote early. How confident should we be that this will be a fair election? And what are you prepared to do over the next 5+ weeks? Because it'll not only be to Election Day, but also counting some ballots, mail-in ballots after Election Day. What are you prepared to do to reassure the American people that the next president will be the legitimate winner of this election? In this final segment, Mr. Vice President, you go first.
Prepared to let people vote. They should go to iwillvote.com, decide how they're going to vote, when they're going to vote, and what means by which they're going to vote. His own Homeland Security director, and as well as the FBI director, says there is no evidence at all that mail-in ballots are a source of being manipulated and cheating. They said that. The fact is that there are going to be millions of people because of COVID that are going to be voting by mail-in ballots, like he does, by the way. He sits behind the Resolute desk and sends his ballot to Florida, number one. Number two, we're going to make sure that those people who want to vote in person are able to vote because enough poll watchers are there to make sure they can socially distance. The polls are open on time, and the polls stay open until the votes are counted. And this is all about trying to dissuade people from voting because he's trying to scare people into thinking that it's not going to be legitimate. Show up and vote. You will determine the outcome of this election. Vote, vote, vote. If you're able to vote early in your state, vote early. If you're able to vote in person, vote in person. Vote whatever way is the best way for you, because he cannot stop you from being able to determine the outcome of this election. And in terms of whether or not when the votes are counted, and they're all counted, that will be accepted. If I win, that will be accepted. If I lose, that'll be accepted. But by the way, if in fact he says he's not sure what he's going to accept, well, let me tell you something. It doesn't matter, because if we get the votes, it's going to be all over. He's going to go. He can't stay in power. It won't happen. It won't happen. So vote. Just make sure you understand you have it in your control to determine what this country is going to look like the next 4 years. Is it going to change? You're going to get 4 more years of these lies.
Mr. President, 2 minutes.
So when I listened to Joe talking about a transition, there's been no transition from when I won. I won that election. And if you look at crooked Hillary Clinton, if you look at all of the different people, there was no transition, because they came after me trying to do a coup. They came after me spying on my campaign. They started from the day I won, and even before I won, from the day I came down the escalator with our First Lady. They were a disaster. They were a disgrace to our country. And we've caught them. We've caught them all. We've got it all on tape. We've caught them all. And by the way, you gave the idea for the Logan Act against General Flynn. You better take a look at that, because we caught you in a sense. And President Obama was sitting in the office. He knew about it, too. So don't tell me about a free transition. As far as the ballots are concerned, it's a disaster. A solicited ballot, okay, solicited is okay. You're soliciting, you're asking, they send it back, you send it back. I did that. If you have an unsolicited, they're sending millions of ballots all over the country. There's fraud. They found them in creeks. They found some with the name Trump, just happened to have the name Trump just the other day in a waste paper basket. They're being sent all over the place. They sent 2 in a Democrat area. They sent out 1,000 ballots. Everybody got 2 ballots. This is going to be a fraud like you've never seen. The other thing, it's nice on November 3rd, you're watching and you see who won the election. And I think we're going to do well because people are really happy with the job we've done. But you know what? We won't know. We might not know for months because these ballots are going to be all over. Take a look at what happened in Manhattan. Take a look at what happened in New Jersey. Take a look at what happened in Virginia and other places. They're not losing 2%, 1%, which, by the way, is too much. An election could be won or lost with that. They're losing 30 and 40%. It's a fraud, and it's a shame. And can you imagine where they say you have to have your ballot in by November 10th? November 10th. That means that's 7 days after the election, in theory, should have been announced.
Okay.
We have major states with that,
sir,
all run by
2
Democrats.
minutes is 2 minutes.
All run by
All right,
Democrats.
YouTube. So we got an update that just dropped from Atlanta, and they're giving us an update about the counting that's going on in Atlanta, because we all know that Atlanta is a big piece if Donald Trump is going to win re-election or if he's going to lose. It's a big piece. Even though the path is narrowing for Donald Trump, it's still not out of the possibilities of him still winning. As well as that, we know that there's a bigger, better, lot more path for Joe Biden to have his path to the White House. So we're going to give you this update in this clip here of the counting that's going on
stuff into their system and upload it. As like many of y'all during this election cycle, they're tired. Sometimes they're going to forget to press the upload button. So we recently this morning done an extra email and follow-up phone calls through our liaisons and the elections office to make sure they have uploaded everything. And with that, we just had a new tranche of votes come in from Sumter County, which has lowered the overall. I'm going to give you what we have with every caveat in the world, probably the best numbers are right now for the state. Knowing that there's going to be a handful of those ballots in small counties here and there that will be slowly aggregated into the system over time. But these are our big tranches that can affect the outcomes overall. And some of you might have seen some of these already. We're working to get these done today if possible. And we're working with the counties who might be having questions about how to do this properly, because the main thing we want to do, fast is great, and we appreciate fast. We more appreciate accuracy. Accuracy is going to be the bedrock upon which people will believe the outcomes of these elections, be they on the winning side or the losing side. So accuracy is vital, and it's the key to all of our processes. And I want to make sure we told everybody in this room and in this state and around the country, this is the first time Georgia has used paper ballots in 20 years. We told people they can expect some results on election night, and we got a lot of them out there. In fact, we got down to 250,000 yesterday. We were down to about 60,000 today. So let me go through what we know we have right now. I brought my computer so I wouldn't screw it up. Bryan County, 3,027. Burke County, 494. Chatham County, 17,158. Cobb County, approximately 700. Floyd County, 682. Forsyth County, 4,713. Fulton County, 11,200. Gwinnett County, 7,300. Harris County, 3,641. Lawrence County, 1,797. Putnam County, 1,552. Taylor County, 456. For a total right now of approximately just over 60,000 votes. The anticipation is we will continue to go through the process throughout the day and into the evening if necessary. I know there are large counties in this state that stayed overnight, Fulton County being one of those, to process these, and they've knocked their numbers down to that 11,200. We anticipate getting through this process today. One of the reasons that our friends in Chatham County take a little bit longer is they have a unique system where their voter registration is separate from their elections division, and they handle different sides of the absentee ballot and the reporting process. So that's one of the things that held them up, but I think we're through that process today, and I anticipate getting the majority of the 17,000.
All right, guys. So we that was a clip there talking about the update from Georgia, what's going on there, and they're hoping to have their count done tonight. So we will see. I'll put a picture here of the map of how it's turning out. But this is just my idea. Last night it was kind of funny. I didn't record it, but a friend of mine did a search of who the president of the United States was on Google. And it was funny because he didn't record it either, but he told me about it. He said that it said Joe Biden. Then also last night on Fox News, not too many people caught it, but it was a trend going on around on TikTok that Fox News accidentally put out that Joe Biden won the election with 288 electoral votes. So I think it's kind of a conspiracy, but my thing, and I think that they already know who's going to win the election. If you go back and look at a couple of the other videos, they were talking about the ballots, and of course there's going to be more Democrats voting mail-in ballots, but there's never been such a major issue, and now they're focusing on specific points of the election. Like I said from the beginning, guys, I'm neither for or against Joe Biden, or I'm neither for or against Donald Trump. Just because I'm African American doesn't mean that I'm pro-Biden. It doesn't mean that I'm pro-Trump. I really just want to be able to support my family and take care of my family, do what I gotta do. This whole election, yes, part of your civic duty and part of things that you're supposed to do as an American, but all the hoopla, all the unrest is neither here or there for me. I just want people to be safe. I want things to be done correctly in an order, and I want people to be held accountable when they do something wrong. There's consequences for everybody's actions, and they need to be held accountable for their actions, regardless whether it's a mistake, regardless of fault. There's consequences for all actions. Just my opinion. But my guess is that Joe Biden's going to end up winning by 288 electoral votes. I have a feeling that he's going to win Pennsylvania, but he doesn't necessarily need it. He's going to probably win the other two states, which would be Arizona and Nevada, which is going to put him over the 270 mark. So my hunch, 288. I saw it last night. Quick. I found it on the internet that Fox did kind of put it out there by accident. But my assumption and my guess is that as much as everybody wants Trump to win, I think Joe's going to end up winning 288 electoral votes. With all the counting and recounting and things like that, I still think that it's going to end up being Joe. Really don't care. I think it's just, people be safe. People do what they need to do to protect their families and whatever. But breaking news, Joe, 288. We'll see. Be blessed, less stressed. Left door closed, right foot down. Only when it's safe. Like I always say, guys, I'll see you on the blacktop. Safe trucking.